10 years, I've balanced a full-time corporate job with being a mom and a wife. And when I first became a mom, I had this image of what motherhood would or should look like. But working full-time while raising a multicultural family taught me that real life doesn't fit neatly into those expectations. It's been challenging, eye-opening, and nothing like I imagined, and yet so much more than I ever could have hoped for. And along the way, I've discovered that our kids don't need perfect parents, which is good because they don't exist, but they need authentic, present parents that are willing to learn. And I am blown away by how much they learn from what we do, not just what we say, but also how much we can learn from them and what we say to them all the time. And today I'll talk about the lessons I have learned, the expectations I have learned to let go of, especially as an Asian mom, and how being a working mom has shaped our family for the better. There are lessons that I've learned, but I am also tying them to things that we tell our kids all the time that we should be taking for ourselves as parents as well. And one of the main things that we say in our house a bajillion times is use your words. Raise your hand or let me know in the comments if that is one of the phrases that you all use in your house all the time too. But we need to do that as adults as well. Right? We can't expect people to read our minds. That's what I tell my kids. Use your words because I can't read your mind. People can't read your mind. You need to tell them what you're feeling, what you need. And how often, especially as a mom, especially as an Asian mom that did not growing up vocalizing all of my needs or needing to be heard in all the different classrooms or whatever, it just is not my nature to be confrontational or all these things. I have had to learn over the years in school and then in working, I also need to continue to use my words and learn how to ask for what I need for and communicate with my family what I need, communicate with my boss, my team, what I need and what I need for myself as well as from other people, right? And how do we work together? Because we all have different love language. We all have different styles of work. We all have different ways of communicating. We need to express ourselves and use our words to let people know what we need and understand what other people need as well. Another thing that we keep telling people is ask for help. Right? We tell our kids this, if you don't know something or you need something, go ask someone. And so often as we get older, we feel like we should be able to do it. We should be independent people that can figure everything out, do everything. And as a mom, there is a stereotype that you are the person in the household, and I am totally stereotyping. So don't come after me. But there is this fundamental, I think, societal thing, especially in Asian cultures, where the wife, the mom, the woman is supposed to be the one that does a lot of domestic work. And in our home, we were two full-time working parents that needed to share the load of the domestic work. And once we had kids, there's a bunch of kid work too, right? And of course, there were certain things that only moms can do, right? Like feed the baby if you're breastfeeding and things like that. But I had to ask for help. I needed to let go of the fact that I saw my mom do all sorts of things in the house. I saw so many other housewives do all these things, but I also had a career outside of the work, and I had to give myself worth too and say, I cannot do it all. I am also contributing in a outside of the home job that requires my time and energy also. And acknowledging that, yes, my partner should do things too. And in a lot of homes, that is still not the case, which boggles my mind. And I'm so grateful for my partner who is absolutely on board with the fact that I should not be the one that is default home person. And so whether that asking for help is grocery delivery, we Instacart Costco stuff like no other, or say we deliveries for other groceries like Asian groceries, or house cleaning, whatever else the need for you is. I know people that have multiple nannies, even though they might not need it, or some people might say they don't need it, right? Do what you need to do, friends. Ask and get the help that you need. My mom used to come up quite often to help us with the kids, and she would stock our freezer. It was amazing. Thank you, Mom, for having the love language of food. She is absolutely a Japanese mom in that sense. And I hope to be that for my kids too someday if I am blessed with being able to have grandchildren to shower with that love. But there are things that we can ask for help. And it came to a point where I said, Mom, is there any way you can come up and help us? Because these drop-offs, these pickups, this cleaning, the cooking, the everything, we can outsource some things, but I would also love if you can come up and spend time with the grandkids also. And they would love that, and my mom would love that, and we love her cooking. We love having her around. So it was a blessing, and she was willing to do that. But there are all these things. Maybe you have family in the area, maybe you don't. We didn't, but at least she was close enough that she could come. Do not be afraid. Don't force yourself into the I should be able to do this because other people are doing it. You don't see what everybody else is doing. Don't hold yourself to that. This was a very long segment on Ask for Help, but it is so important. That also ties into know what is important and what your priorities are, because that helps you determine where you put your funds and where you put your time, because there are so many things we could be doing. There are so many things that we wish we could do in our job and our personal lives. But if you want that work-life balance, if that is even a thing, work-life harmony, we have to know where the importance lies. And for me, it was my family and being able to have that time, because if I wanted my career to take off and I wanted to be the next CFO, that looks very, very different from how much time and effort and just energy I am putting into my job. And I know people that have gotten to that point, and I don't want that life. And I knew that for myself. And if you are someone that wants to be the next CEO, CFO, props to you. And if you know that, you know where to go, right? And you know that that time is worth it. For me, missing out on my kids' lives and time with my husband and time with my friends, it's not worth it. I want to live a life where I feel joyful, and all the money I make, all the titles I can have, do not compare to the time and life that I have with my kids and my family. So know what is important to you. We can't do it all, is what I tell my kids. What do you want to do? What is important to you? Speaking of boundaries, an important thing for me is to teach my boys no means no, right? There are some things that I get triggered by that, and I have to keep reminding them, kids, if someone says no, that means no. But I also have to learn that for myself, where I have to be able to say no, because for projects or for responsibilities or volunteering things, I love doing things for other people, and I have to remember my boundaries. I have to remember that I can't do everything. And while I would like to, no means no. If I've told myself, no, I'm not going to sign up for another thing just because other people aren't signing up for it, no means no. If I need time for myself and I told myself I'm going to go rock climbing with a friend, but the kids want me to hang out, I'm sorry, kids, I need this time for myself. I will do stuff with you after, but I do need time for me to replenish my own soul as well. And so if you have things that you need for yourself, it's okay to say no. Take time for yourself. Take time for the things that you find important. If it's a time that you need to leave work because you need to go pick up the kids, communicate that and have those boundaries in place. It is so important to define those. And it goes back to knowing what is important to you and knowing what you need to make time for so that you can make room for the things that you enjoy. And to be honest, you then come back a much more productive employee because you are looking forward to coming back. You are productive in the time that you have there. I am so present or try to be in the place that I am. I am present at work when I am at work. I am present at home when I am at home, so that I can shed that guilt and be in each of those places, be who I need to be in each of those places, and be present with my mind and my body in each of those places so that I can be at the other place guilt-free when I'm there. And we also do a gratitude practice in our house, right? I ask my kids, what are you grateful for? We do like high-low buffalo. What was your high-low buffalo? What things in your life are good? Because we so often compare with people that got promoted, or people that have this other job, or people that are making so much more, or people that have this bigger house, or whatever it may be. There is keeping up with the Joneses is real, friends, and there is always something to aspire to, which isn't bad in itself. We all need goals. We all need things that we want to get to, right? But again, we need to know what is important, and we need to be thankful for what we have, know where we are, know that there is so much that we do have. And when we are present where we are, it makes a huge difference. I, as a working mom, make sure that I am grateful for the time that I have at my job, because at least in my last job, I was there for 18 years, friends, and I made some really good work friends and work besties that I am so grateful for. And I'm getting teary already because I just left, and you saw my video about turning 40 and starting over in a new place and a new job. If you haven't, go here to check it out, because I get emotional there too. So if you're not okay with emotions, skip some parts. But I had people that I absolutely loved and adored, and it was so hard to leave that job, and I'm so grateful for that. But I'm also grateful for the new opportunities that are coming and I know that are here. And so when we are steeped in gratitude, it doesn't leave room for all the comparisons and all the what ifs and all the things, because I know that I have made choices that were important to me. And like I said, I can compare with the people that started at the same time and moved way ahead, or all those things, but I bring myself to the gratitude part of, I like my job, and I like the people, and I like the time that I get to spend with my family and my friends, and I still get paid a good amount, you know? So comparing all these things and reminding myself of all the things that are good in my life, I'm not comparing as much. I am grounding myself in why I chose to do the things that I chose and the decisions that I made along the way in my career, in my life. And they're good. They're good. Gratitude always grounds me, and I remind my kids of this all the time, and we do things together too, so that we can be grateful together. We can pray for other people together, because we know that everybody is hurting. Everybody needs prayer. Everybody, whether you're a spiritual person or not, we do this nighttime prayer together where we pray for someone that we know, or things that hurt our hearts. So anyway, all that to say, gratitude is a huge part of the lessons that I have learned. The growth mindset. We teach our kids this, or we are told to teach our kids this all the time, right? The we can't do X yet. Instead of saying, I can't do it, or I'm so bad at this, we teach our kids, we can't do it yet. How much do we need to know that for ourselves? Because we are so hard on ourselves when we start a new job, when we start a new project, when we hit a new phase of parenting. Teenagerness is coming, friends, and yeah, I know it's coming, and I hear stories. We can't do it yet, but we are learning. And when we give ourselves that grace of saying, we will learn it, we will get better, we can surround ourselves with people that can teach us, people that we can learn from. And kids see that too. I have many times gone to apologize to my kids after I blew up, which is usually after a long day of work or something, right? Or I'm stressed out about a project or something. And I act in a way that I don't want to with them. I yell at them when I'm not wanting to be a yeller. All these things, but that repair process of going to them and saying, I'm sorry I acted that way. That was not okay. That goes a huge, huge way. And that is the same at work. If I talk to someone the way that I didn't want to, or I didn't intend to, but they took it a different way, or maybe I was having a bad day, all these things, repair goes a long way. Obviously, with your spouse or partner, repair goes a long way because we all do things differently. We all think differently. And when we can give ourselves and each other grace of saying, we're not there yet, but the next point is to keep learning, right? I think one of the biggest things I tell my kids is be coachable. Always be willing to learn. Don't think that you are the best at something, because when you think that way, that you already know everything, that is bad news for all kinds of things, for relationships with people, because people don't like being with people that think they know everything, right? I think we can all think of someone that thinks they know everything and it bothers you. You don't want to be around them. And so being coachable, being willing to learn, on the job, right? It doesn't matter if you're a manager or a CFO or a CEO, there is still always something to learn. And when we have that mindset, it opens up so many doors to people, to opportunities, and just learning in life, because lessons are not just for one thing. You might learn it because of one thing, but it is applicable all across your life. And as long as we learn along the way, we're totally good. Be flexible. Be flexible is something that we have to learn a lot, right? I worked in big tech where CEO says do something, you drop your other project and focus on something. Or even in parenting life, right? A kid gets sick. You have to be flexible. There are life things that come up, health issues that come up, just things that throw curveballs at you, and we have to be flexible. And so many times I've had to have conversations with my kids about, we have to be flexible. I know I told you we could do this thing, or we would go to eat this thing, or whatever, but circumstances change, and we have to talk about why it changed and plan accordingly. Revise, redo. We can go there some other time, but things change, and flexibility is a huge, huge thing in our lives, right? And for some people, it is really hard, and change is always hard. But the unexpected, if we can learn, especially at a young age for our kids, that it's part of life and how to deal with it. And if we can show them that we can also be flexible and that we can also change our minds, because sometimes we think that things need to be done a certain way, and our kids can actually teach us different ways to do it too, which is amazing. Friends, I've said be coachable, right? That also goes towards your kids, because your kids can teach you amazing things. As I'm going through this video, right, they're all things that we say to our kids, but we can also learn from them too. Can we get an amen to that? Because we can learn from people 0 to 100, beyond, people everywhere, everywhere. And especially if you have children in sports or any sort of competitive thing, it's not about winning. It's about enjoying the process, right? How many times do we say that? Winning feels really good, guys. I know that is true. Winning feels really good, and we all need to count those wins. Every little bit counts. And if we don't reflect on that, I have a planning process where I absolutely reflect on the day, the week, the month, the quarter, the year, and learn from those things and plan accordingly for the future. But it's not just about winning, right? That's where the comparison stuff and all of that hurtful stuff comes in. And if we just focus on the one thing, that doesn't take into account the journey, the process. And I want my kids to know that. You didn't win that basketball game? It's okay. What can you learn from that? Did you have fun? Did you learn some things? Did you meet some cool people along the way that you were able to be teammates with? Can you be teammates with them again? What can you do better? What did you do great that you want to keep doing? These are all things that I talk about with my kids, and I do with myself as well, because with each project, with each teammate that I work with each job that I have. There are all things that I am learning along the way, and I have enjoyed every single thing that I have done. I've talked about this in my YouTube journey as well. So if you haven't checked out my process where I say it is absolutely worth starting a YouTube channel and my journey in it, I talk about some of these things here that I have gone through all kinds of things, and it is absolutely worth the process. Even though I am not winning in the sense that I am not a CFO and I'm in the finance realm, right? I may not be winning in some people's eyes, but I have dang approved the process. I have enjoyed it. I have gone along with it. I know where I was going. As far as life, is my kid the top athlete? No. And that'll never be the case. There are some things that I know will not be the case, and that's okay. We are enjoying the process. We are learning along the way. Have fun in everything that you do. Find joy in each part. If you are focused on one part, friends, I'm going on a little tangent, but I have seen people that are so focused on becoming manager, director, VP, CFO, CEO, whatever it might be, going after that title, and they make decisions that are not great for their lives, or they hurt people that they shouldn't, or it just isn't the right way. You burn bridges, you run people over, and for me, that is not my way. That is not what I value. That is not what I want to teach my kids. I want them to enjoy the process and not just focus on this tip-top thing, and if you don't get that, you're a failure, because that is absolutely untrue also. And if you were going for a tip-top spot like NFL athlete, CFO, CEO, like all these things, there's a finite amount of roles there, friends, and there's a lot of competition, and it's cutthroat. So if you're willing to go there, props to you. Like I said before, goals are great. Having goals makes us move, right? And actually take action on where we want to be. And we absolutely need to know where we want to go, where we want to be, and how to get there. Just enjoy the process along the way. I think I have said that enough times. Every mom's journey is unique, but we all have something to learn and share from each other. And I think that is absolutely the beauty of journeying with others. And I 100% believe in our life is meant to be in relationship with others. We are meant to be cared for by others and caring for others. And so if you were here, I'm really glad that you were here, friends. And if anything resonated with you, or there are lessons you have learned along the way in parenting, in working, professional life, share them with us in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, will you? And I'll see you in the next video with my reflections, fun, and travel. See you in the next one.